Hello everyone, welcome back to more chess. Playing today as white against D Shoko, I guess. Um, and just like play some developing moves and hope something good happens. All right, attacking my center. I think I would be. I don't know. Let's just develop an. No, don't go there. Well, yeah, that's bad because then they can just push again and make me sad. Uh, I have this, which is a check, but not a very useful one. I could just leave this tension. I can't leave it. I have to defend if I'm going to do something. So I think it's like takes or this are my moves. And I don't really want to recapture this way because it lets them get this queen trade in. This is a weird opening. Let's just take. Keep this file under control and get on with developing. There is this developing with check, but again, it can just be stopped, so I don't see much advantage to it. Let's just shove a pawn way out there. Right? Sure. This feels a little weird. I don't believe I have faced this opening before. Um, I don't like my king being so naked, but I'm not the only one, so. I think we'll just do something quiet with the bishop here and try to get castled. Oh, you know what? I was about to say, yeah, a bishop move uh, to here would have been pretty cool because they don't want to take that way, right? Well, no, it's fine. I can just retake with queen. What's the problem? Let's just get castled. It's pinned, but... Well, what if I go here first? Sure, before they can build up any more pressure on the knight. They may choose to maintain the pin, I guess. Okay, they're not going to. So I feel like I gained some tempo there, but I may well lose it in the future when my queen is attacked. So, sure. Like they made two moves with their bishop to capture one of my pieces. Okay, I think I'm just happy with this. Does make me feel a bit bad about developing all the way to here though. This is now me losing tempo again. No, let's just yeah, let's block while developing. What am I thinking? Why retreat? Advance. This bishop's not in any danger yet. There's no way for the knight to attack it as well. There's lots of... Plus, I mean, it's defended twice anyway. Okay. Now this bishop is pinned. So it can't actually recapture here. It's not defending. But I think we get out of that just by castling. Yeah. Check. Not really very productive, I guess. And it drops this pawn. They seem to be doing a pretty interesting job here of targeting this bishop. Getting their knight exchanged for a bishop is doubtless lovely for them. But what if here? Sorry, not there. Here. Then if they try to take this, do I end up this pawn? Not really. You know what though? This is way too. Oh no, that just makes my well. This creates this cool discovery, right? Um, it does make my rooks like they look a little forkable, but the bishop is defending, so I think it's fine. Maybe I should be developing this knight as a higher priority. I don't know. It would be kind of cool to have him here attacking this pawn. Okay, so they're getting out of the pin, or the discovery is now a little bit less strong. And in fact, it's it's the opposite now, isn't it? I'm in danger. Okay, I really need to develop this knight. Now that my rook here is defended. And I'm all developed, and my opponent is a couple moves away from developing. But they have more proactive pieces. The knight in particular on b4 is what I'm thinking of. And my bishop is a little bit not exactly vulnerable, but he's sort of delicate because he can't really lead this pawn right now, so if someone were to attack him, really? What is that all about? Okay, so now I do have this bishop move with tempo if I want it. Would I be happy to do this? Not really. So it's not tempo I'm happy to gain. Maybe just chase the knight away? I don't understand what the king move was about. Actually, this is probably the more likely thing for them to do. Yeah. That was definitely not an exchange that worked out well for me. I'm not sure. Maybe I was supposed to play bishop here, but it just gets chased away. I don't know. My bishop was just kind of unrecoverably vulnerable, and they waited until I had tried to had spent tempo doing something about it and then exchange. So I think they did pretty well there. I now have these two crummy isolated pawns. At least they're center pawns. But I do feel like I'm behind here, despite the lead in development. Why is that? Just because, like, my pawn structure is bad? I guess. Hmm. Where's she going? Is she just getting out of this or doing something more specific? This is targeted over here. This, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be much of anything that I'm too worried about. Problem is, I don't know what I'm supposed to do to make progress. Go here. This is an alright square. Opens up my rook. Targets the king. What if I went here? Now, if you trade, you have to improve my bishop. It does weaken my rook, but I think I'm okay with that. This is still a good file to be on. And having these pawns revitalized would be a big selling point for me. And if they don't trade, like, I'm not going to take this bishop. I guess I could. No, it would be bad, right? Okay, so they're kind of trying to pile up on the bishop. That's a fair point, I guess. I can do this. To defend. Or I could go here. And then if takes, I can trade here, which would be bad for me, I guess. Yeah, I don't like this very much. Let's just go over here, support the bishop some more, and make them devote even more pressure to this before I budge. Actually, I don't think this even did anything. Because aren't I already defended enough here? Takes, right? Like, where's this knight going if I go here? He kind of has to go back to where he came from, right? And then I can grab this pawn if I want. Oh, that's cute. I definitely have to do something about this, and it should involve moving the queen. Yeah, I didn't think about this idea. So here, is that so bad? I don't think it is. Here, we're even on material. Also, I can grab this whenever I want. Yeah. And I'm focusing a bit more on this rook. So if they ever take here, I have that, which seems okay. Although I probably should just not do that and try to defend the file. I might have trouble hanging on to the file, actually. Yikes. I think the e-file is going to be a good asset for black. What about here? Doesn't really do anything, does it? Here? Threatens to get the queens off? Do I want that? I see this pawn is hanging. I'm just like, that seems pretty greedy is all. Oh right, this is not defended by the knight. I thought it was. Okay, so that would be horrible. Got it. So what if I just grab this? What are they gonna do to me? Probably something, right? Pile up on this file maybe and attack the knight at the same time? Yeah, that would be a problem. Well, I could duck back here, I guess. I'm gonna try it. I still feel like my rooks are a little bit worse than theirs, and my knight sucks. I don't know. He doesn't suck. He's just very fragile. He could easily be uh, kicked away. But if he did, I mean, he'd be okay here, right? Or here, maybe. Maybe it's better to try to get over to the king side because that's where I have better pawn control. I feel like if my opponent can just double their rooks, they'll be really happy. And so this kicking away the pawn... Oh, I can't go here. There's a bishop attacking that area. So this kind of forces here, which is fine. And if they attack again, I can retreat again. But then you could do something like this finally, right? On the other hand, that lets my knight get over to defend this, so I'm not as vulnerable as I might be. I don't know. Oh, that's interesting. That wins a pawn. Because you get this knight, right? What can I do about that? Anything? Obviously, I can just take here, but then I'm still down this pawn. I don't even mind really losing this pawn. Getting the rook here is kind of cool. I can't do that, though, can I? Because I'm tied down here. Right, I thought of this, but then forgot. There aren't really any knight moves with good tempo. I could do an in-betweener like this, I guess. That would free me up to capture with the rook, I suppose. Because now they're threatening this file, but I don't really care anymore. My king can get to safety. Okay. And by the way, the major pieces lined up here means that if I could ever do something about this pawn, knight here would be a cool fork. This feels so scary, but I think my king will be okay. It's tough for the queen and rook to both get in there and do something. And we all know this is the next move coming. Oh, but if so, I pick the pawn back up. Oh my god. How cool is that? No, I don't. Yeah, I do. Right. Where's the queen gonna go now? She could try to attack this pawn somehow, like here, I guess, right? That would be pretty cool for her. But I'm attacking this pawn? I don't know. I guess we're just going to start mopping up pawns and see who blinks first. Yeah, I know. I still think this is a perfectly fine shelter for the king. But it does let their rook into my back rank. Their back rank is an issue too. I'm like one move away from checkmate. Okay. So this forces king here. Do I care about that? Not especially. It makes, well, yeah, if I could get here, I could check him again, but I can't actually do that if I move there, right? So, not sure how great that is. Do I just focus on this pawn some more? They can't defend it. They have to go after one of my pawns instead, I think. Okay, that one's a little scary. If they take here, I'm going to be pretty upset. So let's not allow that. Oh, this pawn is pinned, and so this pawn is hanging, actually. All right, but doesn't this just let me chase you away? No, I'm not sure it does. Um, here, you could support it, and then I would be in real trouble, I think. I see. Where else could I go? Here? That just drops this and dies. Okay, this is getting scary. Yeah. I think their king is safer. I think queen here is the right idea. No. Here? Is there some tactic with this, possibly? Oh, I'm... No, they're not threatening checkmate. I can run here if they check me with the rook. Okay, let's pick this up and defend my pawn also, by the way. Oh, I'm down to a minute. Let's be careful on that. This... Really? Checkmate! You got me. I didn't see that coming at all. I see. Yeah. I forgot queens can go diagonally. Obviously, that's not really what happened, but I just didn't imagine. I had imagined this whole area as like a safe space for my king, and it wasn't. Okay, that was a good game. You know, emphasizing the importance of king safety. Uh, so what could I have done at the end here? They went over there. I don't know, actually. Pretty tough. You know, something like this stops immediate death, but no, it doesn't because checkmate. Or, well, check and then one of these two. And there's no obvious way to bring the queen in that I see. You have, like, moves with check, but none of them get you to this square. Which is where you would need to be to deflect this. So am I dead here? No, I'm winning. It's a draw. So it does like this. What's the follow-up here? Okay, yeah, I saw the idea at some point of, like, this coming with check, but I don't quite understand what it does. It's a weird line. Ah ha ha! Draw the king onto the A file so that you can pick up the rook. That's pretty cool. And it says it's drawing here. I kind of feel like I should be winning since I'm up a pawn. Oh, do they have... No, this is not a perpetual check. Huh. I guess it's... Oh, wow, just ignore this, huh? Pawns just racing for the finish line on both sides. And then we trade them. And then do it again or something? What a wild, I don't know. Just a weird idea. And then my pawns start falling. Huh, okay. Anyway, let's see what the computer thinks about the rest of the game. Okay, a little bit uncomfortably spiky. 7 blunders. Is that a new record? I don't think so. But they were apparently large blunders. Look at that cent pawn loss. So, here I was. Trying to remember what was going on at this point. They're attacking this bishop, which I don't like. But where is it supposed to go? It can just run away, but it's needed to defend this pawn, right? So the answer is no, it can't run away. You don't want to just develop the knight here. It's in plus 2.2. There's some huge threat that I have, apparently. And it really hates my opponent's castle. So I can do stuff like this. No, I can't. It drops the rook. I had this idea in mind at some point, but not right now. I guess it's like, you know, the king is a little bit not as safe as he might like to be, and I could do maybe this and get there someday. But none of this addresses the immediate problem of, like, my bishop. So I guess that's just not the point. I could try to kick the knight away. But he's okay just picking this up, I think. Or no, he's not. Picking this up, I mean. That would be fine with him. And it weakens my pawns in the same way as happened in the game. So I don't know. Try making the knight go in for this? No. So what was I supposed to do? Oh, of course. The bishop can escape with check. And that way I don't have to hurt my pawn structure or um give up this pawn. Or this bishop for that matter. King runs away. And then I kick the knight in a way that makes it safe for my bishop to return. Okay, but what is the big idea here? What have I done? How am I so ahead? Like, the position seems fairly even to me. I'm a little bit more developed than my opponent, but not really. We each have one. Well, okay, their bishop needs 2 moves to get out. My knight needs only 1. Their knights are quite active. My bishops are a little bit fragile. I have this as a threat someday, I guess. So that's why it wants to develop the bishop, I guess. Knight, I suppose. Wants to play knight back? What? Okay, there must be some big threat if they don't do that. So let's just make some other move, and actually we can ask, what's my threat? Bishop pinning the knight, I guess. So they're getting out of that to defend this square. Or moving the queen so that it's not as much of a pin. Huh. Suppose they try to kick my bishop? Now they have to move the knight because it's not defended. Well, oh, right. Yeah. So that would be like almost one of the worst moves. Okay, so yeah, I guess there aren't a lot of other options, are there? All right. Now, doesn't this still work? Defends the pawn, it gets out of there. I was worried about this. But that creates issues with the bishop here, I guess, right? So I think maybe I can get away with this. No, I have an even bigger advantage now. Bishop here, discovering an attack on the queen. No, that's pretty bad. I get this bishop over here? He can just be kicked. It's kind of cool to have him like threatening the king side a bit, but I don't get it. Okay, so discover an attack on the queen. Yeah. But she just like leaves. Ah, and now the bishop can get out with tempo. But it's hanging, right? So what's the threat if here? This requires much, oh my god, much more analysis than I'm capable of. Ah, throw the bishop. Okay. So it's not hanging, it's defended by a tactic. The tactic is you can discover an attack on the queen with check and pick her up that way. Goodness gracious. Okay. Yeah, I mean, okay. So discovering discovering this attack on the queen looks useful anyway. And so I might insert it as an in-betweener before doing something with this bishop. But I don't know that I would notice this tactic. It's like too. It's not even that complicated, but it's like too complicated for me. So it doesn't like me supporting this bishop, which is quite reasonable. I sort of forgot that this is already sufficiently defended. They can't attack it. They have to pile up more on it. I think I must be doing this, actually. Because here, probably don't move with the rook, right? And then here, I win the pawn? Yeah. I realized eventually that this had no defenders, but I could have made it happen sooner. Weakening this pawn structure and getting a pretty reasonable knight in here with an attack on this square, which, by the way, is a pawn and also a fork. So they would probably have to, I don't know, play... No, just give up the rook, huh? Well, it's not giving up because you're attacking this pawn. And you can trade the rook. Okay. Knight here. The stuff this game suggests. Obviously takes. But then we have... What? Oh, this. Yeah, so they can't actually take. They have to move the king. And I get to establish a knight in Black's house that's strong enough that they are considering throwing away the... Well, not throwing away, but giving away the bishop and fixing my pawns to deal with it. Okay. Now at this point, it says I was still winning, but this lost. I don't like going here, I don't think. Well, why not? I can win this pawn, can't I? Defended twice, attacked 3 times. Comes with an attack against the bishop. And if they try to use the bishop to attack, they're going to just lose a piece for a pawn. So instead here... And it's a little bit hard, I guess, for me to keep the pawn defended, but apparently I can do it. And this discovery is maybe something... Okay, yeah, that's a good point. I had... Oh, no. +9. Some huge threat against the queen. Oh, here. No. Yes! This pawn is not real. It's pinned. And the queen can't get out with check. So she just has to go here and I grab the rook. It says don't take the knight, huh? What happens if... Oh, because you lose the bishop still. I see. You might as well save the bishop and let my knight get away. Actually, it doesn't even really let the knight get away. He's in trouble. Well, yeah, it does. The queen's here. It's a little scary, but apparently it works. Oh, of course. This was my chance to get the queen back into the action. I just saw this as like, hey, my king's... This is totally fine structure for my king. But I could block with queen instead and get her back to the defense of my king, which is what I really need. And also, by the way, the defense of this pawn, which would not be such a bad thing. Okay. Now it says rook up was a terrible blunder. Because taking that pawn is just not good enough. Yeah, I mean, it's threatening stuff like this, for example. This pawn is just not important right now. I probably have to do, well, what if I tried this? Forces king here. Doesn't accomplish that much. Yeah. I mean, even if it brought my queen all the way back, what exactly can she do if they try to move here? I guess then you could push the pawn? Ugh, I don't know. This is probably not the right move. It's horrible. Check. So why, though? I get to come here. Yes, I saw that this is a spot defended by my pawn. It stops the queen from getting to either of these squares. She protects... So this diagonal right now is the biggest threat against my king. This is defended by a pawn. This is a little hard to get to, I guess. But these two spots the queen could get to immediately. And so putting my queen on c4 is what keeps her out of c6 and d5. I have some big trick here, huh? Yes, I do. Well, no. Queen here is no good. I was thinking queen here, check again, pick up the rook. But no, queen's defending that. Was it this? It's hard to imagine. That just gives the rook another check. Is it just like... I can't play my queen to anywhere that can access this square. I don't know. Is it still this? No. Oh. We do get the pawn with an attack against the queen. Actually, wait, why not this? Defending the pawn? I mean, they get to pick up my pawns, but I have two connected passers, which I guess is pretty good. But apparently this is better. They get this pawn with check. And then it wants to just trade rooks. Or queens. I guess I get to pick, huh? Take the queen or take the rook. But yeah, definitely get rid of the queens. Because these two pawns are a big asset, and we want to magnify their impact by getting rid of the powerful pieces that could threaten them. And we get right to the back rank, which is nice. Means we can just start pushing pawns. Okay. Well, this was a sad outcome. For a lot of the game, I had an advantage, and I just didn't really know what to do with it. Oh well. And then I ended up blundering in the end. Twice, right? This blundered some big advantage, or well, more than twice, 7 times. But in particular, king here was some. I just underestimated the importance of this diagonal several times in a row, and eventually my opponent noticed. You know, when I gave them mate in one. So what was I supposed to do instead at this point, actually? Here. Oh, right. We looked at that. That was this idea. Okay. All right. Anyway, that's all for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.